Hello everyone, my name is Mel and welcome to Let's Chat. So again, my name is Mel B. I've had this page for a few months, but I haven't done anything with it. Kind of set some videos there of some podcasts that I help with. But other than that, I haven't really done anything with it. So I decided that as part of my rebirth, regeneration, or whatever you want to call it, in 2025, I was going to actually actively work on this page. It's probably going to be a little rough at front, but just bear with me. It'll get better. So the goal of this page is mostly to talk about what I've done to overcome addiction or to heal, how I've handled stressful situations, talking about my transition that I'm going through at this time of my life. I am 47, so I've had a lot of experiences, but I will say that this particular experience has probably been the worst one of my entire life. Again, I'm 47. I have 4 years of sobriety. I really had 3 years of solid drinking. I spent about as much of that time also trying to get sober. So it took me a minute. It took 6 rehabs. I don't know how many relapses, a lot. And finally, I just kind of formulated my own plan for recovery, and I executed it. And I will say that ever since I got sober, it has worked great. So I am continuing to do that work till today. So just a little bit about that journey and some of the things that I did to get to where I am. So after my first wife died, I discovered alcohol. That's pretty much how it happened. I very rarely drank before that. And when I say rarely, I could go a decade and have a drink. So I was not a drinker. My family had addiction issues, so I kind of just always just assumed to not do it. Like I assumed it was a bad idea. And I stuck with that forever. But like I said, my first wife died. I did not handle that well. I was a workaholic, and my job gave me 3 months off. And I don't know if there's some true workaholics listening to this. When you are a workaholic, that is an addiction. That is part of your identity. So you took away one addiction. Lo and behold, I find out about this other one. The other one makes me feel kind of good. And so also helps me focus. It helps me have a tremendous amount of energy. Alcohol does not put me to sleep. So anyway, fast forward. I have an addiction. I decide that I'm going to get help. And like I said, I went to like 6 different rehab stays. And every time on the way home, on the flight, I would relapse. Finally, my wife at the time told me, look, if you come home drunk, there's a soup kitchen here and a shelter. Now, mind you, I'm the breadwinner. And so I'm thinking, I can't even go home to my house because I'm already, like, when she tells me this, it's already a wrap, So, luckily I got through that. And I got to a point in my life where I got pulled over for DUI. I was guilty. So, I had a choice. I lost my family, lost my home, job, freedom, and so I had a choice. Oh, and I tried to kill myself 3 times. So I had a choice. I can either continue on the path that I'm on and either end up in jail or dead, or I can do something about it. Well, I had done a Right when that happened, COVID hit. So I don't know how other people made it through, but to me, if you went all the way through COVID but didn't learn anything about yourself, I don't know what you were doing, because Austin was locked down. Like, all you had to do was think about your life. Unless you were like a first responder or a essential worker, you were stuck in the house. There was no fast food restaurants open, no groceries. You were sitting at home, and the only thing you really had to do was work on yourself. And so I used that time. I biked a lot during that time, and I tried to figure out, like, how can I, fix this in me. And I tried AA, and I did all the steps to AA, but AA just really wasn't for me. I dreaded going. I didn't feel like I was part of a community. Nothing against AA, it just wasn't for me. So what I ended up doing was I kind of formulated my own plan of action. And so one of the things I did was I set aside 2 hours every single day, a set time. So from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. every single day. That was my self-care time. I journaled, I meditated, I read, and I did some form of physical activity. And I did that religiously. But during that time also, I was like, man, why do I keep drinking? And it finally dawned on me, and they had taught me in rehab that you really have to get to the root of why you drink. So I, in my head, view addiction like a weed. It's like crabgrass, or a pretty weed with pretty flowers. We can go along and we can chop off the flower, so I can quit drinking. And I never had trouble quitting drinking. It was the sustainability of that was my problem. So I look at it like this: if you go and you just chop off the not drinking part, but you don't deal with and heal from the trauma and the bad self-image and all that stuff that actually feeds the addiction, then what's going to happen is that weed's going to grow back. And anybody that's dealt with addiction, they understand it's a progressive disease. It's not one that just, when you're in the healing process, it just sits there and doesn't do anything. It grows stronger, especially if you're not doing the work. So what I did was I said, I'm going to deal with all this childhood trauma. And I sat in pain. I cried. I journaled. I discussed. And eventually, I kind of just let that inner child off the hook. I said, you know what? You helped me get through childhood, but you're not working for me in adulthood. And I symbolically buried her at every single spot that was important for me and significant in my trauma. I kind of just said, okay, this part of you is going to stay here. And that was probably the turning point in my life. Once I acknowledged my addiction, I took care of the shame and the fear associated with that. I changed how I thought about myself. Instead of me saying I'm a bad person, I trained myself to always think of myself as a good person that makes mistakes, a good person that makes bad choices. And when you do that, the shame goes away. Shame, fear, and secrecy are what feed addiction. So we have to kind of figure out, how to deal with those underlying causes. And when I did that, a funny thing happened. I just no longer wanted alcohol. I no longer thought about it. I could be around it and it didn't bother me. Because before I drank, I didn't like alcohol. I didn't like the way it tasted. I didn't like the way it smelled. And even when I did drink, I didn't like the way it tasted or smelled. I would have to chase it because I drank straight bourbon. And I would always have to chase it with a Coke because I literally hated the taste of it. So if you want to know how addiction can be so strong, think about it. You don't even like something, but you can't live without it. So once I did that, the sky opened up. and kind of a change in my uh, view of myself, a change in how I view the world, just totally changed. Um, but it was really hard work. It was horribly hard. I lost friends. I lost, relationships. I lost time with my child. I had a lot of loss during that time, but I will say when I came out on the other side, I gained back those people that truly cared about me, and the ones that didn't, they just stayed gone. I have a great relationship with my son. I have a great relationship with my ex-wife and her girlfriend. So I really can't, ask for a better outcome. Fast forward to 2024. I had been in a relationship for almost 4 years at this point. We had good communication. I thought we respected each other. But all of a sudden, pretty much out of the blue, everything that this person had ever told me, said about me, complimented me on, was revealed through her own words and her actions and her texts, that she literally hated me the whole 4 years. Just hated me. There was nothing about me that she liked, which was totally contradictory to what she told me, And so I want to thank that work that I did in my recovery for my ability to bounce back from this, because I thought my recovery from addiction was hard. I think this time in my life is much harder. Number one, I don't have alcohol to numb some of it. And another thing, there's a certain type of abuse that people will never understand unless they go through it. And unfortunately, there have been a lot of people go through it. But there are people in this world that are like chameleons, and they tailor their life or who they are as a person to any situation, and they will con you for ever how many years they need to con you to get what they want out of it. And the sad part is that at the end of it, when they no longer need you, you're no longer of use to you, you actually get to meet the real person. And most times it's in direct opposition to the person you dealt with. And I can say that is exactly what happened to me. The person who she really is, I don't know this person. I know the dream she painted for me. I know the person she pretended to be. So I don't know this new person. And in a way, because I did that work, I never attached myself to the relationship. And she was never able to try to play word games with me to get me to believe that reality was not reality, that, she tried to make everything my fault, and I should have known that she was this way. And, it was, it was, she even tried to blame me for her lies. Oh, yeah, I told those people that, but you made me tell them. Just stuff like that. But luckily, I knew who I was. And you're not going to convince me, that I am not this person. So that helped me a lot. I was able to recognize that I'm not losing the person I loved. I'm losing this person right here. And quite honestly, I did not lose. The day that, I had to get a new home, she moved somebody else in. So that just, that tells me exactly, how much I meant to her. And that's okay, because, I feel like I mean a lot to myself. And so it's been ongoing with this person. I've had to change my phone number, Facebook, email, and it's been an ongoing battle. I didn't leave a forwarding address or any of that. And at times I do feel like, a prisoner. But at times I feel really free, and I'm proud of myself. And I don't mean that in an egotistical way. I just mean that Like, I made it through this. I'm actually doing good. It has been a crazy hard time, but I have a job. I have somewhere to sleep. My life might not look conventional from the outside, but honestly, I'm happy. And that that is 99% of the war. But I want this channel to kind of be about self-help, healing. You can ask questions, especially if you're going through addiction or someone is going through addiction. Please, put a comment. I don't like to label what she is, but if you've ever been in any kind of situation that is emotionally abusive or any kind of abuse, um, you know, tell me your story. Maybe we can do a live together. Um, and I just hope, maybe my story can help other people. I know it was kind of all over the place this time, but I promise the next one will be a lot better and more of a focused topic. But I just kind of wanted to let you know who I am. Again, my name is Mel B, and thank you for coming and to watch me on Let's Chat. If you would, before you leave, please hit that subscribe button and that like button, because that's going to mean that my content gets to more people. So thank you, and I hope you have a blessed day.